I want to say something that women do not want to hear, but if you sit down and listen, it will save you years of your life later down the line. Relationships are not about changing men. The moment you find yourself trying to educate him, trying to awake him, trying to push him, emotionally coach him, and explain yourself for the 100th time, you're not in love. You're in control mode. And control is not consciousness. I've been guilty of this, and I see this all the time with my clients. Women who are intelligent, self-aware, emotionally deep, they have done the work, come to me exhausted, not because a man is abusive, but because the dynamic is misaligned. The man is not emotionally present, avoids accountability, talks a good game, but his behavior never changes. You will never grow with him. Let me tell you again. You will never grow with him. Because here's a harsh truth. You cannot build with someone who already does not have the foundation. You're not here to manage men who choose to stay emotionally unconscious. You're not here to fix men, and you're not here to awaken men. And I need you to get out of that role, because it's not your role. You either choose the dynamic or leave the dynamic. And leaving is not punishment. Leaving is clarity. Leaving is having compassion, empathy for yourself. Leaving is honoring yourself. Leaving is trusting yourself. One of the biggest lies that women internalize is that staying makes them loyal, it makes them evolve, and it makes them strong. For who? For who? No. Stop it. Stop it. Right now. Staying while trying to change someone that just teaches them that you abandon yourself before you abandon your relationship. And that right there, that's the issue. That's the problem. What actually creates change, and that is if a change is ever meant to happen, is a woman who's willing to walk away without rage, without ultimatums, and without collapsing. If you are collapsing when a relationship ends, you're in the wrong relationship. You're too on your dependency energy. You need to be, if you want to be in a relationship, you need to be an interdependent energy. There has to be interdependency, not dependency. Interdependency is completely different. And that's when truth gets exposed, not because you forced it, but because you stop buffering the freaking consequences. And this is where discernment comes in. Every time, listen to me very closely, every time you choose yourself, something internally shifts. Your self-trust becomes stronger, your nervous system stabilizes, and your tolerance for misalignment drops. You start seeing things faster, you leave sooner, and you waste less time. Why? Because you trust the discernment that you're getting. And when something ends, yes, you feel sadness, but you are not destroyed, because you're no longer outsourcing your sense of safety, identity, or your worth to another person. This is sovereignty. This requires self-mastery. This is autonomy. This is detachment. That right there. Let me be clear. I talk about men, I talk about their psychology, and I talk to you ladies about how they operate to educate you to make informed choices so you can have better outcomes in your experiences, because they didn't teach us a lot of these things that you have to learn from experience, that I've learned from my experience. Not so you can center them, but so you can stop abandoning yourself for them. That's why I do what I do. Because I wish somebody told me these things. And sometimes some people didn't know how to articulate that. They didn't know how to tell me these things. My goal is not to make you better at relationships. My goal is to make you so rooted in yourself that you don't stay where you have to beg for alignment, or you have to beg for bare minimum. You're not here to prove your value, and you're not here to wait for potential. And you're not here to drag someone into consciousness. Because what's going to drag them into consciousness is you walking away and them losing you forever. Loss, a lot of people learn by loss. They have to lose you so they can elevate to the next level of consciousness. You're meant to trigger them so they can elevate to the next level of consciousness. And unfortunately, when it comes to men, a lot of them learn when it's too late and then you don't want them. That's why they say he has to love you more, and the less you care in the relationship, the more he cares. And I want you to remember that when you don't choose and you avoid making a choice, you're still choosing. And let me remind you that staying out of fear has never transformed any relationship, ever. And if you've been realizing that you're trying to fix, manage, or emotionally raise someone while abandoning yourself instead of choosing yourself, that is not a man's problem. That's a self-trust problem. That's a belief system. Sovereignty is built. Discernment is built. Emotional detachment is built. You have to work on those muscles to strengthen them, just like everything else in your life. This is exactly why I created the Feminine Reset. It's not about getting a man. It's about rebuilding the relationship with yourself so deeply that there's no room for misalignment. And if they're misaligned, you can gracefully exit. Once you stop abandoning yourself, you don't attract potential, you attract foundation. And that's where the provider magnet comes in, because you don't build a house on possibility. You build and grow on structure and stability. If you're ready to stop trying to change, man, and start choosing yourself, you know where to begin. I hope this video helped. I hope it gave you clarity. I love you. Mwah. Bye.